FaceApp is back in the headlines, the mobile app that can make you age or can make you younger, and to give the Russians something to do, I just had to do this. Let's start with Bond film number 1, Dr. No from 1962, where we have a very young Ursula Andress. This doesn't look far from the real picture, but she's quite a bit younger there. Very young Dr. No. Good result by the FaceApp. Quite nice. Could have had an older Sean Connery, looking a bit like US President Lyndon Johnson here. Not really. Second Bond film from Russia with Love, 1963. We could have seen an old Bond and an old Tatiana on honeymoon in Istanbul. Or a young Rosa Klepp, looking a bit like Scarlett Johansson there. Goldfinger, 1964. Let's have a very young Bond villain, Gert Frobe, bit boyish. An old Pussy Galore, played by Honor Blackman, frightening. And an aged Sean Connery. Could have still pulled it off. Thunderball, 1965. One of the best Bond films around, with a very young Emilio Largo. Would have been something. Maybe a bit too young. Older Bond, younger Domino. And apparently, as an older secret agent, you have a lot of perks coming along with the job. But that looks more suitable. Older Bond, older Fiona Volpe. Nice couple. You Only Live Twice, 1967. Set in Japan and Blofeld's volcano. We could have had an old Sean Connery and a hairy one. We could have had Karin Dor in an older version, playing Bond girl Helga Brandt. Not to forget ever-smiling supervillain Ernst Stavro Blofeld stroking his On Her Majesty's Secret Service, 1969. George Lazenby's only performance as 007. He could have been as young as that, or he could have aged and could have looked as old as that, but he didn't. He looked like something in the middle. He could have gone against a very old Ernst Stavro Blofeld. Bond could have looked a lot run down, with fuzzy hair, fuzzy beard, going against Irma Bunt. She was scary in the film, she was even scarier here. 1971, Diamonds Are Forever, and the return of a rejuvenated Blofeld, played by Charles Gray. Good capture by the FaceApp. Charles Gray really looked like that. Not like that, though. That's the old Charles Gray. Good result by the FaceApp. Young Sean Connery. That's really how he looked when he was young. And that's not how he looks now, and not how he looked in the film. Bit Nixon. Just cringeworthy. And Jill St. John, looking a bit rugged. (1973) Live and Let Die, and the first appearance of Roger Moore as James Bond. Bit young though. They could have waited a few more years. That, of course, a result from the FaceApp. A pretty accurate result, to be honest. This could have easily been an episode of Young Bond. Rejuvenated Jane Seymour, although she always looks young. Roger Moore and Japhet Kotto, going against a very old Baron Samedi, one of our favourite characters. And, yeah, maybe an old Japhet Kotto. Still decent. And that's not how Roger Moore looked in Live and Let Die, but, well, snake poison. The Man with the Golden Gun, 1974. Scaramanga and His Golden Gun. Young Christopher Lee. Good result by the FaceApp. Very old Christopher Lee. Looking a bit like Dracula there. With his golden gun. Well, he played Dracula, so it's not too far off. Young Roger Moore and young Maud Adams. Again, could have been an episode of Young Bond. A young Sheriff Pepper. That is actually really cute. I like that. Young Sheriff Pepper and young James Bond doing adventures together. Really nice. Again, young James Bond with Maud Adams and Britt Ekland. And here, Roger Moore looks a bit like German football coach Joachim Löw. Well, The Spy Who Loved Me, 1977. A young James Bond with his young girlfriend has to stop supervillain Carl Stromberg, who captures both and keeps them locked up until they look really old. All three of them. Bond escapes, but the tanker is so large that he grows a beard and hair and, well, ends up in Moonraker, 1979. And here he's going up against Hugo Drax, who looks a bit like the last king of Bavaria, Ludwig II. Amazing. Bond, again, very, very young, rejuvenated with a FaceApp, good result. And apparently time moves faster in space, so you get very old and you have to wear glasses going through Venice in your gondola, whenever you do that. Jaws, rejuvenated. A young Jaws, Richard Keel, and an old Richard Keel, finding a girlfriend and champagne. For Your Eyes Only, 1981, year I was born, great. Love that film. Could have been a young Christatos. Well, maybe a bit too young. Going against an old Melina, played by Carol Bouquet. And everybody said BB was too young. Here's an old BB for you. But it doesn't really work with a young Roger, so we just turn that around. Yeah, that's much more appropriate. Roger Moore looking a bit like President Bush there, with an older Melina and a young Miss Moneypenny. Also, I don't know. No. Octopussy, 1983, and the FaceApp being very accurate with Roger Moore's face as a young man. Also Christina Wayborn, looking a bit like a teen here, and Maud Adams as well. It looks a bit like the Young Bond series continues, going against an old Prince Kamal Khan. Ending in A View to Kill in 1985, where many said Roger Moore was too old to play James Bond. Not as old as Christopher Walken, though, made older here by the FaceApp. Or his henchwoman, Mayday, played by Grace Jones. And here's the younger Roger Moore. What's your opinion? Would it have worked? I don't know. It's 1987 and The Living Daylights, the first appearance of Timothy Dalton. Bit younger here, but just slightly, not much. His boss, though, M, did look old in the films. Here he looks a lot older. General Koskov, just made slightly older with a few more wrinkles. And filming in the heat of Morocco makes you age faster, so that's how Timothy Dalton looked at the end of the film in a deleted scene. But 1989, License to Kill, shaved off his beard, still looked old. Like that, in the presence of lovely Carrie Lowell. Would have easily been a schoolteacher kind of Bond girl. And the second Bond girl, Talisa Soto, looking a bit like Jackie Kennedy there, just a bit. Old men and their games. And after a 6-year hiatus, Pierce Brosnan took Bond to new heights in 1995's GoldenEye, looking a bit younger than he should here, but also pretty accurate. He could have gone against Famke Janssen as an angry schoolteacher, playing with guns and with cards. Holy mother. And apparently, in the presence of Martin Campbell, you age a lot as well. So people say. But not if you have the genes of Jodon Baker, who looks really young here. Quite accurate as well. Young General Urumov, played by German actor Gottfried John. That could have worked. And here are the old secret agents, 006 and 007, Sean Bean and Pierce Brosnan. Accurate. 1997, Tomorrow Never Dies. Bond shooting around the world, being very, very young. Too young for the role, actually. But, oh well, that's too Trump. That's too Trump. Get rid of this picture. Out, 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 out. Older Bond, younger Bond girl. Nah, probably not. The World Is Not Enough, 1999. Explosive film, bit over the top. Bond going against Renard the Fox, being really old. And schoolmistress the Cigar Girl, who not just loves rounded figures, but also guns and shooting and, well, blowing up balloons. Sophie Marceau played the villain. Just slightly older here. Sophie Marceau is so beautiful you can't really distort her face. Denise Richards. No. Die Another Day, 2002. James Bond once again opened the door to a whole array of strange characters like Mr. Diamond Face, Zhao. Could have been a bit older, like the FaceApp here. Much younger Rosamund Pike as Miranda Frost. And again, schoolmistress Halle Berry. No offense, Jamie Lee Curtis. Sorry for that. Casino Royale 2006, starring Daniel Craig as the new James Bond. Imagine he would have been just 19. He would have looked like that. But in fact, he did look like that. No, he didn't. Just a result of the FaceApp. Opening sequence, shot in black and white, colorized here. Old Bond, doing all of his own stunts. Well, most of it. And you know, old bones break more easily. Old Le Chiffre, old Vesper. Nah, wouldn't have worked really. Don't want to see that. Quantum of Solace, 2008, not liked by many Bond fans. Maybe we can make it a little better. Old Bond, old action hero, young Bond girl. Nah, not really. It looks like, I don't know. No, it's just too much. I don't want to see that. Old Camille. Nah, no. Old Gemma Arterton. No, thank you. Young M. Well, Judi Dench. Being rejuvenated just too much. And that is just a bit over the top. Being too old. A young Felix Leiter. Jeffrey White. Good result by the FaceApp. And a very boyish villain, Mathieu Amalric, as Dominic Green, behind the years. Pun intended. Skyfall, 2012, with our favourite quote, "Take the bloody shot," spoken by a very young M, looking a bit like Lea Seydoux here from Spectre. A very young Bond, he just turned 20 in Scotland. Oh, that looks convincing. Glasses are a bit big. Old Bond, bit worn down, in the casino in Macau. Raoul Silva. Well, the only person on which the FaceApp is completely useless. Spectre, 2015. Imagine that having been with a 21-year-old James Bond. Oh, it's fairly accurate. Old Ralph Fiennes as M. Old Miss Moneypenny. Well, we all get older. And an old Lea Seydoux, once again looking like a schoolmistress. There's a schoolmistress thing going on. Monica Bellucci. I mean, she is beautiful as hell. Bit younger here. And of course, there's the story of the foster brother. Well, here they are. As young brothers, aged, 18. And Christoph Waltz aged rapidly during the film, so not as bad as Mr. White did. Well, he's pretty run down. An honourable mention, Andrew Scott as the IT hipster working at Nine Eyes. And what's in store for Bond 25? Well, Bond is looking good. Daniel Craig, not one day older. Really great. Looking forward to Bond 25. Fantastic.